What's happening? Landlord from Alabama here, back with another video. And today, man, we're gonna talk about your 24th overall pick, Tyler Smith, out of Tulsa. You know, born out of Fort Worth, Texas. You know, a hometown kid, and you know, he is a big time mauler. He's only 21 years old. He's a young kid, a raw talent with a whole lot more room for improvement. He was redshirted in 2019. He only played 4 games. So, you know, let's move to 2020. He played 9 games during the shortened COVID season, and he made first team All-American in his conference. PFF graded him for the most big time blocks out of the whole college football last year, man. So he had a lot of big time, nasty, mauling type blocks. But you know, everybody know the story by now that when he was younger, he was bow-legged, so he suffered Blount's disease basically, and he was bow-legged. They had to break his legs and put him back in place so they can be aligned properly. But he's a big athletic freak, and you can't tell that he had any type of surgeries with his legs or anything. He's just athletic and big and nasty, and that's exactly what the Cowboys was looking for. I looked at some tape from him playing against Houston, and you know, he had a couple bad series. He had a holding call that go right against him. You know, the guy just got off the ball real quick, and it was too fast for him. It seems like Tyler kind of struggles with his kick when he's doing his back pedal and as an offensive tackle. So you got to understand that when the Cowboys was evaluating him, they wasn't really looking at him as a tackle. They was looking at him as a guard. So a lot of the weaknesses that you see coming from Tyler Smith was due to him being at the tackle position, and due to him having a pretty terrible, pretty horrible, trash offensive line that was along with him. So, you know, that's gonna hurt the whole overall performance of everybody on the line. If your left guard is trash, if your center's trash, everybody else is just garbage, it's gonna bring your play down as well, because you might be on the outside, but you trying to overcompensate because left guard can't do his job. So you gotta give him help, and he helping at the wrong time. A lot of the times they had trouble passing a lot of those defensive players off when they ran stunts. And Tyler be trying to help, and then he'll forget that he got a man over here. But a lot of that is just due to his youth, and a lot of it due to coaching and, you know, playing with a terrible offensive line that he probably didn't trust in. So that's gonna be hard to, you know, have chemistry and have faith in your team when you don't look at them as good players. So I believe that was a big part of the reason why he struggled and why this offensive line struggled as a whole. But you know, the Cowboys was looking at him like a guard, not a tackle. So when we picked Tyler Smith, a lot of people, you know, got up in arms and went crazy about us drafting him in the first round because he's not a finished product. But you know, they was projecting him at guard for the time being right now. And like I said, when you picking at 24, man, you're really trying to swing for the fences, because in the draft, a lot of the times it's not 24 first round graded players. And this was one of the weaker drafts, especially without that many quarterbacks. So when you picking way down at 24, it's only 8 spaces left in the first round. So like I said, you can either get a player who deserves to be at 24, who his ceiling is low but his floor is solid. You can get a player who you know exactly what you're gonna get from him, or either you can swing for the fences and try to get somebody who got a lot of potential, who you can try to unlock and get a steal, you know, like I said, and try to get somebody who will be ultimately a greater player than the position you got. But in that Houston tape I watched, some of the film, man, he got 2 bad plays back to back. He had a hold on one of them, and then the very next play, it was another play that it's supposed to have been a hold, but his player still got through the hole and hit the quarterback and caused a fumble. So that was a terrible series he had against Houston, man. But he struggled like that against Houston a couple plays, but they was really getting blew out. So he probably was checked out. I ain't giving him too many excuses, but you know, the score was like 35-3. So he probably was like, I'm just trying to get past this game. That's human nature to kind of let off the gas a little bit when you getting the doors blowed off you. So, you know, give him a little small benefit of the doubt, I say. Take it with a grain of salt. When I looked at him against Ohio State, he was actually dominating. He really had no problems at all with any of the players that was rushing him in that Ohio State game. He really was just dominating. He was looking like they was just kids out there. He was doing a lot of those big time blocks he was known for, and he made it look easy. He just literally dominated Ohio State, and you know they got some of the best talent in the nation. So if he was able to just dominate them like that, man, he does have a bright future, and the sky's the limit for this kid. I love his attitude. He already talking like, he said, if he look at the opponents like they trying to take food from his plate, and you know, if he talking like that, that mean he mean business. He said he's not letting nobody take nothing from him. It ain't no Debo's around here. He said he is gonna eat all his food. He gonna eat his cornbread. Ain't nobody taking nothing. And I love that type of attitude, man. We need some nastiness on this offensive line, man. And it was evident that San Francisco was just a meaner, more physical team than us last year, and Mike McCarthy, Will McClay, Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, they look like they saying they are not going to stand for it. They have to get a better, madder, meaner type attitude in this Dallas Cowboys locker room. I also looked at some film from 2020, I believe, and he had a play where he drew a illegal hands to the face call. The defensive player just, you know, put his hand all up in his helmet and made his helmet come off, and I know he didn't like that because he was kind of pissed off. So the very next play, he just destroyed this defensive line. I think it was number 19 for Cincinnati. That was in the championship game. He just came and just creamed him, and then the dude tried to get up, and he just smacked him again just to let him know, like, hey, I'm about that life. You better pack a lunch when you coming up against me. So I understand what the Cowboys was looking at. If you was thinking that he was going to be a tackle right off the bat, then the pick would have been kind of suspect. I understand the skepticism about it at that point, but if you project him at guard, a lot of those issues he was having, he won't have to deal with. It's a lot more room for error in the guard position compared to the tackle position. That's just obvious. That's something everybody know, man. He won't have to do as much. He won't have as much responsibility. Then he'll be right on side of Tyron Smith. So he gonna be a lot better player, man. He didn't have good top tier talent in Tulsa. The Cowboys projecting like if we put him alongside of some better players and coach him up to get him a little more smoother, a little more refined, I believe we can get us a special player. And maybe a couple years down the line, he could be a tackle. But in my opinion, I'm not too sure about that because his kick off the line don't look too clean or look too smooth to me. He takes some little weird steps and go forward and let the defensive player get past him real quick. So it's a lot of little errors. It might be mental. It might be in his skill set or bad coaching at Tulsa. We never know, but he gonna have to improve on a lot of that, man. We can't just have that in the NFL. You're gonna have people that's matching you athletically, so your technique is gonna have to be pretty solid. But that's all I wanted to say, man. Just holla at your boy, Landlord from Alabama, with the same handle on all social media, man. And like I say, 1K, one love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.